hype time.
All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Berserk, episode 18.
Oh. Griffith is down for the count.
Griffith is lying on the ground after falling.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's actually poisoned or not yet.
We don't know anything yet.
The conspiracy theories are afoot, and as you know, when it comes to theorizing things about fantasy stories, I have many a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
Especially when it comes to people that do things all according to Keikaku.
That's right.
Like Griffith.
Yeah.
So we have the missing plot point of what was Foss's letter about.
Yep.
And we have what Guts and Griffith knew about.
Right.
Whether that was the promotion or that was something else, like maybe the plan that's about to be enacted here. We don't know how the Queen is going to be involved in things.
Right.
But stuff's about to go down.
Yes.
Royally.
Anyways, things have already gone down.
You missed my pun.
No, I know.
You did. You got it. Royally. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, we're ready to do this. So without further ado...
Well, see, I got sun, so it's like, is it blood rushing to my head and I can't help, I'm trying to hold back laughter? Or is it just that I got sun?
Headphones on.
No, I need to put my glasses on.
Oh. If you do that, something will be wrong.
No, nothing will be wrong.
Having something this chaotic and drastic does certainly seem in Griffith's favor if he has the ability to manipulate kind of the little things here and there.
Chaos is a ladder.
Chaos is a ladder, exactly. And this might be how he becomes king, but it also might be the way in which everything goes horribly wrong. So, who knows? Yeah, this was like soap opera level cliffhanger. Just the...
While they're in the overly colory, clothes at the banquet, the ball.
Right.
Yeah. And she was just about to ask him to dance, we think.
Sound like some kind of like really dumb cat. Just wow wow.
About shape, there are the chances that phrase. Even mother will show you another.
I just realized that tree looks kind of like a spider.
Put your glasses on, nothing will be wrong. There's no blame, there's no fame. It's up to you.
So remember how... Okay, hold on. You remember the white flower theory I had a while back about Griffith burning up? Mm-hmm. He got poisoned here, potentially.
And maybe it's a plant of some kind. And poisons come from plants. Sometimes. No.
I see it more of just the idea of the flower dying, know, because it just got burned to ash. But whatever.
No, I'm messing with you.
Okay.
You're exactly right.
I knew it. Tombstone of Flames. Oh my gosh. It has the flames! And tombstones are generally white! I was talking about the flower and the white flower burning. It's... Oh!
True love's kiss.
She dies. She kisses him. Yes, don't let anyone out. Yes, exactly. Oh, but Guts is outside.
He's already out, yeah?
Yeah. Oh. He's gonna run right into Guts, isn't he? He's gonna run right into Guts, yep.
And he's got a new sword.
With the black cloak and everything. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
But he's got a new sword.
Yeah, okay. I know.
Cool.
It's pretty cool, but who cares? I'm just like... It's happening. It's happening. Oh. He's still freaking out, so what's... Oh crap, they're in the dark. In before Guts just comes in and starts lopping heads.
Just climbs in through the window and...
Yep.
それでは私は少々騒ぎの様子を見てまいりますので
I have to leave before Guts comes in and kills you all. Oh, shoot. Oh,
戻すことができま
is he
す
in the
な
dark?
いやま
He could be hiding in either corner right there. He's probably locking the doors and everything. Like,
前例を作るところでした。
全ては王妃様の後ろ盾があったればこそ血は守られた。
yeah. Oh my gosh. A tombstone of flames! Oh my gosh! Foss is quite the strategist indeed.
どうなすった？
開かないんです。
Oh! Holy crap!
Yeah.
どうしたことだこれは。
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah, do a hair flip and leave. Yes! I called him! Freaking knew it!
I mean, you mentioned every
Right.
thing, but yeah, you called it very quickly, yeah.
Yep, awesome. But it was the first theory I mentioned.
Yep.
Throw yourself from the castle. Maybe you'll be lucky. You just have a broken leg. This is a war. Oh, shoot.
You think this is a game? Oh no.
I don't think I know. Oh, with the heat distorting everything.
Yeah.
Well said.
Just like the kid.
Well played. Well played. So that's what Guts meant by seeing it through to the end. It's a lot more than just hanging out at a party.
今日はいかにして知り得たのかを。
Yep.
では、
Yep.
なぜ私に？
Yep.
Not exactly being super subtle.
No, he wasn't being subtle at all. One look.
あなたは私の目を見、あなたが私の存在を許しはしないことは分かっていました。
Wow.
Yep.
Yep.
あなたの目が恐怖を握っている
Yep.
からです。
Yep.
And when people are afraid.
真に恐ろしいと感じるものを目の前にして、人はそ
They
れを無
reveal
視す
them,
る
their
ことは
true
できません。その庇護のもとに加わるか、
Whoa.
その存
Submit.
在を抹消し、己の恐怖をかき消すか。
Whoa.
Yep.
宮廷
Yep.
内に
Whoa.
私を
Griffith.
快く思わない。
なんていうことだ。私はあれ以来この男の手のひらで
Yep.
踊らされていたというの
Yep.
か。
All according to Keikaku.
私の震えが止まらないのは仲間を裏切ったことでも王妃殺害に加担したことでも
Because of who he is.
Right.
This man. Yep.
この男が恐ろしいからだ。
Yep.
もう必要はありませんね。誰の遺恨を残すのはやめましょう。
That's almost as terrifying.
大臣こちらへお約束のものをお返しいた。
Dang. Wow. Holy crap.
Uh-huh.
Holy
感動の
crap.
ご対面ってところですか。予定を調べ上げて馬車で外出したところ。
Yep.
約束通り
Yep. He
空
had
中に
something
お
on
預か
him.
りしました
Yep.
ご苦労だった。
Wait, why is this angle showing from the trees?
してもらった
Guts is gonna kill them all! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! This is
Right.
so
Because
perfect!
of course, though, you know,
Yep.
they hold it over him as blackmail if they ever
Yep.
needed to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way. No way he would let them all live. Whoa.
Yep.
片付いたぜ
Dang.
全部な
Wow.
しかしこいつらもこんなはした金で命を捨てるあの野郎を放っておいても大丈夫なのかよ
あの人も今日のことで懲りたに違いない。
Maybe.
多分って
何かあっ
Maybe.
たら
Yeah.
その時はその時さ。
A
ひどいや
miraculous
つだと思
recovery.
うか。
Uh-huh.
Do you find me
こんな
vile?
薄汚い謀略の片棒を担がせ、しかも自分は手を汚さず、危険で辛い仕事は全てお前任せ。
Yeah, you kinda did.
100人切りやっちまった人間を捕まえて今更何を言うこれがお前の夢につながる道なんだろう今更
そうだな。
死人がいつまでもふらついてちゃまずいだろう。早いとこキャスカたちを安心させてやんなくちゃな。知らないだろうが、キャスカのやつ祝賀会にドレス着てたんだぜ。
本当か。
Really?
物なんだ。
Oh, I want to hold on to this conversation. Keep it going. Wow. Holy crap.
Yeah.
大丈夫なのか
My Gorgeous is crying. Yes.
心配かけてキャスカ。
Oh, Rickard.
倒れてからキャスカは放心状態だったんだ。
すまなかった。ドレス似合ってるよ。
I'm just gonna keep crying right now. You can shut up and just accept my hugging. Is this the end, Guts?
We saw it through.
Oh, the knighting ceremony.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just go with it. Queen's dead. Who cares? Let's knight these people.
World keeps on turning.
And if Griffith is... I mean, he had all the titles and stuff and the general and all that, but technically I think he could have all of that without being worthy.
申し入れが阻止を目論んだ輩の仕業でしょう。
Oh, them thinking about who did all of this.
資格の可能性も。訪れた平和を乱そうとは。
Wait.
不敵な奴ら。
Wait, this is a... Oh, no. For a second, I thought it was a funeral for Griffith, and I was like... Wait, no, this is a funeral for the Queen. Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't a knighting ceremony. Everyone's in the
Right.
swords raised, solemn, solemn expression salute of sorts. This isn't a knighting ceremony. Come on, Caleb.
I mean, I've seen this show before and I forgot.
And people think it's Tudor, which Griffith could use to have Tudor actually attack by leaking,
Yeah,
by
possibly.
sending
yeah.
intentional spies over to them and that they're weak,
Sure.
or something. And it's a good time to break the armistice. And then Griffith takes command of the armies, takes control of the kingdom, wins the war, ends the king's life. He wins. He has a kingdom. And he'd have the love of the people, too. Like, it's hard to, I'd say...
Yeah, because he's the hero.
Right. It would be hard to, commit an act of regicide with the people's, love and support, essentially, because they probably love their king,
Oh, yeah.
And if they think even for a second that the usurper coming in would be...
Griffith's clever.
Griffith's clever, exactly, but that's my point, is that you have to be really clever. Oh, there's a black cloak. That is a black cloak, my friends.
Fresh starts.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, with snow.
ガッツ。
Covering the... Oh, and she sees him.
ラスカ、こんな夜更けにどこへ。なんだあんなに慌てて。
冷えてるからよ。
Corcus.
So astute.
Yep.
出て行くのか。そうなのか。ちょっと待てよ。ずいぶん喧嘩もしたけど、一緒に視線を越えてきた仲間だろ。鷹の段はこれまでの苦労がやっと実を結びかけている。何もかもこれからじゃないのか。それなのに
決めちまったことだからな。
It has nothing to do with you, Casca. I think this is just
このま
guts.
まあいつの夢に埋もれるわけには
Yeah.
いかねえんだ。
He's gonna go out there and start his own fire.
Yep.
Do his own life. That's awesome. Like
Uh-huh.
it's sad because this is just the reality of life whenever you...
Right.
Oh, good way to end the episode. It's not a dramatic cliffhanger because we don't know what's going to happen next. We know Guts is going to leave. I mean, on some level, you could see Casca convincing him or going with him or what have you. But just that when you decide to go after your own dream, oftentimes you realize that the people you surrounded yourself with are not compatible for you doing that. Or maybe their own dreams are holding you back from taking steps towards your own dreams. And we don't know what Guts wants. We don't know what Guts actually wants.
Yeah, he doesn't either. Yeah,
He doesn't either. He has to go find that out. And I think that's something that Griffith would understand while no one else in the Band of the Hawk would understand that.
Right.
Because in some ways, they've given themselves so wholly to someone else's dream.
Because it's served them well.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's a little bit scary in how well that represents a lot of how humanity is.
Sure.
A lot of us have no desire to lead. And it doesn't make us like, you are sheep, you must follow a shepherd, essentially. No. What it just means is that
we find something that we think is a good thing, and we stick
with it. Yeah. We don't have the itch.
Right, exactly. And Guts didn't either until
he met Griffith and had that conversation. Yeah. Good stuff. Whew. Wow.
All right.
That was a great episode. They blended the intrigue plot resolution with the character interactions of our best three characters here.
They absolutely did.
Griffith
plays dirty.
Griffith plays very dirty. But the thing is, it's not that he plays dirty. It's that there is no dirty. There is no clean.
Right. He
plays to win.
Yeah.
And the thing about someone that plays to win is that the means by which you take to win are not permanent things. You don't they don't exist in permanence because everything is for the pursuit of the goal.
Okay.
Now, in Griffith's mind, in his heart, in his conscience even, in his soul even, I really would love to get some insight into how the state of things are in there.
Right. It probably changed a lot after that whole conversation with Casca, you know, in the river. Yeah, because of the boy that died and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. So you can see where Griffith, in the things that were closer to his origins, in how it made him the person he is today. But the thing is, the person he is today had no problem manipulating the life of an innocent little girl, traumatizing her for God knows how long.
Yep.
For the means of which he could get his kingdom. It's the life of one person,
and you know, he didn't kill her, but
but the thing is, Griffith so far doesn't have a code.
Right.
This is the scary thing.
His code is win.
His code is win. Now,
I have a plan. Attack. Yeah.
Right. So okay. So here's the thing of where this gets a little bit interesting, right? We have a lot of episodes left.
Yes.
Griffith has literally one step remaining before he becomes king, and that is
2 steps: marry the princess, and then have the king die. And wait. Yeah.
No, it's just marrying the princess. Once he marries the princess, his future as the king of Midland is assured. The thing is, is that once he becomes the prince or what have you, the heir by marrying the princess, what will change about Griffith, if anything? If anything, I don't think much will change.
Right, because it's like, okay, I'm, you know, that's one less like box to be checked off.
Right,
you know?
but I woe the man that achieves his own dream and loses his soul in the process, basically. If Griffith comes to the point where he has it all, the world is his, and
he's like, was it all worth it
now?
Right. It's the idea that, does Griffith really love the position of the dream
the
of being
pursuit of the dream?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Does he love the dream or the pursuit of the dream? Does he actually want to be king, or does he want to constantly be
striving for the impossible
forward? Yeah, kicking reason to the curb and you know doing all that awesome determination.
We don't know. We don't know.
We really don't.
There's so many times where we got insights into Griffith's soul that were in the past. We haven't had that in the present. The closest we got was the fountain conversation between him and the princess that Guts and Casca overheard on. Now, that conversation didn't actually go into Griffith's soul because he wasn't in a compromised state. He was posturing. He was blustering. And in a lot of ways, he wasn't really bragging as much as he was boldly proclaiming
what he was all about.
Is. Yeah. And the thing is, when someone starts speaking in I, me, and I will, you can lose really the deeper stuff about yourself when you talk about all these external things that you will do.
Interesting.
So Griffith might be aware that Guts is going to leave. We don't know. We don't know. We know how Casca reacts to all this.
Right.
She's sad. She is
not wanting him to leave.
She is not wanting him to leave, but she also specifically brings up their connection as a means by which Guts should stay. Here's the thing, though. Who do we think has a stronger connection to Guts from their perspective? Individually. Yep. You couldn't even hold your smile right there.
Like,
You couldn't. I'm sorry for looking in your direction, but like, Casca or Griffith?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We have not seen good Griffith interaction. With Guts.
With Guts, yeah.
Other than this episode, since like the very freaking beginning.
Right, yeah, a long time ago.
The beginning, guys.
Well, I mean, they had a little bit of good interaction here. They had a pretty good one before he sent him to kill Julius.
It was very.
Yeah, but it's not like. But it's
I'm
not
talking
like,
about a heart to heart.
Yeah, heart to heart. Where
That
it's like
talk
we're going
where-
into the themes of the show
Right.
here.
That talk. Now, if I remember correctly, they like had the sun literally look like the Behelit when they had that conversation. Like back in the beginning, when he tells Guts his dream, and he's realizing, wow, I haven't told anyone this, and he tells Guts his dream and everything. And the sun is literally like this red thing setting in the sunset.
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew it was either a sunrise or a sunset, but I couldn't remember.
One
if
of
they had
those
actually
two.
Done something.
The
like
point is, since then, they haven't really had a heart to heart. And even this interaction here, while it was good, kind of like the interaction you were talking about as well, it wasn't a heart to heart. It was Griffith asking in a little bit of a vulnerable way whether or not Guts deemed him to be a vile man. Now the thing is, why do you ask that question? Why do you ask that question unless you think of yourself as a vile man?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the things with Griffith that we know is he's dealt in the past with a lot of self-hatred. A lot. I can't emphasize this enough. A lot.
Yeah.
Like a mountain of
The band of the Hawk
self-hatred.
has suffered casualties along the way. Like they may have won plenty. But you know,
he did things that broke who he was, and he needed to be mended back up. He needed Casca to be there at the river.
Right.
He didn't want her to leave, guys.
Yeah.
That was the most vulnerable we've ever seen Griffith be. And when he broke and started tearing his own flesh with his fingernails,
that was.
he needed Casca there. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
We have never seen Griffith actually need Guts to be there. We have never seen him actually be like, I wish Guts was here. I mean,
it's
it's all tactical reasons.
sure, yeah.
It's all like we send Guts at the front of the
and
line.
in that sense,
we have
at that-
Guts kill Julius.
Right.
We
And
have
at that
Guts
point,
kill
it probably wasn't necessarily that he needed Casca to be there specifically.
He needed someone
but he
that he
needed
trusted
someone
there.
to be there because he didn't really know who he himself was at that point. Because when we were at our lowest points, we were open to the greatest change, and
change isn't always good.
And change isn't always good. And he's like, well, what kind of change am I going to do here? Because I'm at a really low point, so where do I move forward? So he needed someone else to be
It's
there.
important that was the case here. Now, the thing is, what was Zod's prophecy?
When
when
this
Griffith's
man's ambition fails him, you
will die.
Or that will be your doom, or something like that.
So what I think it is is Guts owes a promise to Griffith. In that he said he would help him achieve his dream.
Yeah.
As far as Guts is concerned, he has.
Right.
Griffith has no enemies on the human plane of existence.
Well,
well, Zod might technically be Griffith's friend in a couple weird ways, but yeah, we have the whole thing of that to look forward to. But that's the future. That's the future.
Yeah.
In the now, Griffith has no enemies. No one that really stands in his way that's antagonistic towards him.
Yeah.
All those that might have been
Are
are
now
now
crispy
scared,
toasty, crispy
crapless.
toasts.
They are.
Oh, okay.
They are.
okay, here's something I have to just shout out to. All right.
Go for it.
And this was so amazing. Like, I had to work so hard to keep a straight face when you said this.
What?
But when the intrigue first started happening at the court and everything, and there were all the people and scheming and plotting and all that stuff, you said, and this is almost a direct quote, these nobles might get burned. And
I said that?
yeah.
This was in the previous episode?
No, like way long time ago.
Oh, way
long
ago.
time ago.
Oh,
it was
okay.
amazing. It was so good. Like,
I don't even remember that.
yeah,
like,
well, and I mean, you weren't meaning it from the standpoint of literally getting burned. You were just
Right.
thinking like, hey, Griffith's really smart. it understands that they would be not trusting of him and, feel like he's butting in on their territory and stuff, and that they would want to, like, take him out. But they need to be careful or they might get burned. So good.
I'm glad I gave you some sixth sense of satisfaction.
I've been waiting for this moment to be able to, like... Yeah.
That's fantastic. I on some level, I knew that gathering all the people together meant that there was a single point of failure for them. But I expected it literally to be Guts.
Like, just coming in and being like...
Just walking out from amongst the fireplace and just... Whoa. Like Anakin on Mustafar.
Yeah, and just cutting down 4 of them, per swing, yeah.
And they're just, like, begging him to stop. And there's going to be this sight of, like, Foss on the other side of the door as it's locked, and he's just, like, sitting there shaking, hearing the screams and the stuff. And then one guy's, like, pleading against the door. Please. He stabs through the door, breaks open, the sword cuts through with blood gushing out, and Foss is just there, just like...
and then Guts takes his cloak and jumps out of the window and becomes true Batman, the Black Swordsman.
No. Basically, he just walks past Foss, stops, looks at him a little bit, but the shadows are covering his face, so he has no idea who it was,
right?
And then just keeps walking.
Well,
and then the firelight flickers through the night as he sees the cracks of the open door, like heads like on the ground with eyes open, like looking at him. And Foss is just like, he's like, what?
Pulls out a paper bag.
well, just basically, Foss is feeling so terrified of Griffith, obviously, because he's being caught up in the wake of something that's just beyond him.
Yeah.
In the same way that Zod kind of entered into the battlefield and created this wake by which Guts and the rest of the band of the Hawk were just kind of caught up in the pure terror of something that they couldn't understand. I like that the themes of Griffith's ambition sweeping up people in its wake like hawk's wings, draped over the masses and just being like, you're mine now. Be at peace. We're going to great places. And it's just like...
Now that was a bit villain heavy, right?
No, my point is that
but the idea
Griffith,
that it's...
Griffith as a person, I don't think he can handle this. This is the thing. This is the thing, Jacob. We know that Guts and Griffith have to be at odds at some point in the future.
Yep.
Something bad's going to happen.
Yep.
The question is, are we going to have a thing of just two people that just have a misunderstanding, or maybe basically they have some kind of a small thing,
something,
but it's something small.
Right. It's the water freezing and melting and refreezing that splits the rock open.
Yeah, exactly. Or is it going to be something large? Where it's like the gap is so wide, there's no way they could ever understand each other.
Sure, just like, this 180, after this point, there's no going back. And the thing is
with Griffith, in the state that he could potentially end up in if he comes to another river place, I don't think he would be able to, I don't think it matters at that point. So my hope is that with Griffith, he's able to keep sight on who he is.
Right.
And I think at his core, he is in a lot of ways the one that how would I say this? It's not that he understands other people. It's that he's the kind of person who sees maybe the value of others. Not the value in others, really, but the value of others.
Gotcha. Okay.
And in that, he can then bring them up to their higher potential.
Sure.
And he uses his dream as a vehicle by which they can do that.
Yeah.
I think that's why Guts was someone that he latched onto. He's like, wow, I see the potential here.
Yeah, this guy will be very useful. Yeah.
Right. I see the value. This is so crazy. And because of that, on some level, if he sees someone with little to no value, I think he just kind of walks by them.
Gotcha.
And just lets his presence do the rest.
They don't really enter into his calculations, into his mind. It's just they're a person.
That's why we don't see him ever say like Corcus's name.
That's
You wanna see something chilling? Go watch up to where we're at before. Count how many people Griffith actually says the name of.
Sure.
It's chilling. Like on some level, I know that Griffith is not evil. Griffith is not the kind of person who's scamming everyone. Griffith is the kind of person who believes so much in himself that he doesn't have that much time to believe in others. Like it's selfish. That's ultimately what it is.
Right. It's that he can kind of take for granted the people that
exactly.
Do help him.
Well said. He takes for granted and that's, other people,
and that's why I love that whole bit of him asking Guts if he thinks, do you think I'm a vile man? Because it's the idea that he's basically checking to see whether Guts sees it as Griffith basically, not properly appreciaing Guts.
Well, that's
just
the thing.
Throwing everything on him and being like, handle it.
Sure. Also, he's saying to Guts, well, my brain just spritzed out for a second.
Happened
there.
to me too. Yeah. This is
it's
crazy
that
episode.
It's that I think Griffith is asking Guts what. Oh, that's what it is. He's asking Guts because he cares about what Guts thinks about him.
Right. Yeah.
He has literally asked no one.
Well,
ever.
Not that we've seen. Guts is the perspective character, so we're not going to see... Like, we don't see Pippin and Corcus and, them hanging out and stuff.
Yes, but there's an assumption that from this point, like, in the beginning of the story onward, I don't think that Griffith... Especially once he, like, attained favor with the king and all that.
Right.
We don't see him actively caring about... the feedback of others.
Well, and that's probably one of the main reasons. I mean, well, no, they kind of talked about it. That's one of the big reasons why Casca hated Guts so much is because she felt replaced because she
was replaced.
Yeah, she was replaced.
She was effectively replaced.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So my first theory in the previous episode's credits
was pretty
spot on accurate. Like
that was,
I did not see that. I don't actually remember exactly what the details of the theory were post fake poisoning. But I knew that he had to have something on Foss. Foss was going to be used in some way by which...
Yeah, I think you said something about that Guts would basically be outside scouting around to see like who leaves or whatever.
Yep.
And because that's the crazy thing. Guts cleaned up everything. Like at the beginning, you think Guts intercepted the poisoner that got away, and it's like, oh, why isn't he questioning him? No. This was their poisoner.
Yes.
Like,
we knew who it was.
Yeah,
we knew where they would run to.
Yep.
Just the image
of Guts just standing by the road
there, and
with
then
his
he,
ridiculously long sword out.
Well, the thing is, I don't think the sword was out.
No, it was. It was like out and near the ground. Like
it looked like he had it on his back, and then as he came past him, the sword wasn't there on the back.
Gotcha.
And then he was already coming to the back.
Just brings it up and
it's pretty crazy. Now, question. I don't know if it's plot relevant at all, but was that the sword that we saw? Like, should I know that was the sword that we saw in the beginning of the first episode?
It was not.
Okay. Yeah, because the sword that I remember in the beginning of the first episode was
way bigger. It was basically just a big slab of steel. It was thick.
But the thing is that I think up until his original sword that he had been using at the Band of the Hawk broke, I had thought that was the same sword that was used in the first episode.
Nope.
But then I remember back and I was like, wait. No.
That was like you bring it down, it goes through the person and like shatters the stone floor.
It goes down to the person, the horse, the dirt, and then Guts drags it two hands and
that slow animation they did in the first episode as he like picks it up and like the rubble shifts underneath it.
Gotta love fantasy stories for having that one thing that's rule of cool amidst the pseudo-realistic environment.
And they actually make the rule of cool thing that is totally unrealistic. Be treated realistically, even though it shouldn't exist.
I mean, for the most part, yes. The queen being dead.
Yeah.
And them not really having...
Because he set it up so they're just thinking, yeah, it must be the other country, you know.
Yeah.
It must be Tudor or, you know, or some other player.
Yeah. There is a little bit of a, how did Griffith get away? Like, you know, him being poisoned.
Gotcha.
What? They're like, no one come into this room because Griffith is poisoned and we need to care to him. And in that time, he sneaks out and goes through all that stuff. Yeah. Having that happen off screen, I think, avoids any direct plot holes. But it is a little bit, like, convenient how much of this went perfectly.
It's also one of those things I feel like where it's like...
It's a theme of Berserk,
It's like, details. Like, if
details.
If they had all this figured out, they don't, like, you know, they don't really need to show all that because that would be relatively easy.
Right. I would just say that as a writer, I looked at the kind of the overall structure of the whole plan and everything, and I realized that because not all of it hinges on Griffith specifically, I think it works so much better.
Yes,
there's the people that kidnapped the kid. There's there's Guts out there. There's Foss. There's the people that Foss uses to actually do the poisoning, and then Griffith himself.
Right.
Because it's not just Griffith kind of manipulating everyone. It makes it feel more realistic in that Griffith, he had a bunch of people that he needed to be in specific places doing specific things. Otherwise, none of this would have worked. And that helps us overlook, in my opinion, the somewhat convenient things about no one leaves the palace. Well, Griffith is dead, so he can leave, and we wouldn't expect to see him walking around. Wait, why is he walking around? How does he get out of the palace?
Well, it could also be something... It could also be something where, like, they did some sort of, all right, containment, figure out what's going on, and they're like, okay, this was an enemy attack. Like, and then, you know, and then that at that point...
But by having that all happen off screen...
Right.
We don't have to question really that many plot hole related things. So what I'm saying is that as a writer, what I can take away from this is strategically figure out what kind of things you don't show. Because telling is, you know, a lower form of storytelling than showing generally. But knowing when to not show something is very important for maneuvering a plot.
And they didn't even tell here. They just left it up to the audience imagination. They're like, with everything that we've set up, you'll be able to sort of connect the dots on everything that's important, and anything that you can't, well, it wasn't really important.
Yeah, I think that actually shows in a lot of ways that this came out 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Because stories nowadays, I think...
do too much?
They have to pander to the viewer too much.
Oh, gotcha.
Now, to be fair, you know, it's a fantasy seinen. You know, it's a more mature storyline, kind of like Game of Thrones. So they don't have to do that kind of thing in general.
Yeah.
So yeah.
One of the things that I absolutely loved about this, like I remember when I first watched this, because like the whole idea of like all according to Keikaku and all that stuff. There's how much you do and to what extent, you know, to make it like still be believable, but at the same time like mind-blowing. And what I loved about this is basically how simple it was, you know, when you boil everything down, what Griffith's plan. It's like, well, I kill all the loose ends, you know, except for Foss, you know, because I can use him or whatever. But okay, I know that there are probably enemies at court. I don't know who, and I'm new to court, so how do I figure that out?
I'll grab one person that is very smart.
Exactly.
And I will manipulate them.
How do I convince them? How do I manipulate them? I won't try and coerce them. I'll just make them terrified of me. I'll make it so that basically I'll force their hand so that I can anticipate their next move. And then by doing that, then he can basically just be like, all right, cool. Now
at what
they'll handle it all.
Now, here's the thing. When the letter came, it was at that point that his daughter was kidnapped.
Yep.
Because if it had been any earlier, I think he would have reacted more aggressively towards Griffith, because Griffith wasn't around.
Yeah.
Because if Griffith wasn't present to make good on a threat, essentially, he would have schemed some way to kill those people. So Griffith enacting this part of his plan almost immediately upon entering is like god-tier levels of genius strategy. Because if you do it too late,
they might attack you before then. Yep. And it's one of those things where it's like Griffith kept things simple. Like it's the genius of simplicity. Like Like, it doesn't need to be some overly complicated thing. You know, he doesn't need to, like, give costumes of himself out to, you know, a bunch of other people. You know, like,
That was one of the dumbest things in that show.
Like, he's just like, I'm just gonna bank on human nature and, you know, let everything else take care of it. And as soon as I'm back, that's when they could potentially now try to kill me. And at that point, I'll start the plan.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I'll use my blunt instrument to clean up.
Guts being used in such a way. I want to shout out the directing of this episode. So there were moments, and remember how I said, why is it showing the angle from the tree of them there? I was like, oh, that's brilliant.
It's like you were being watched.
Because it shows that they're being watched. But the thing is, you know that they're being watched, but not from that angle. The thing is that when Guts was there, you know, he came with Griffith.
Yeah.
There's no like super secret hiding spot.
It wasn't like he was like, I'm banking that they'll take this pathway, you know,
No.
for 500 feet and I'll be waiting there. You know, it's like, no.
He just came with Griffith.
Yeah.
But the directing of the episode told us that Guts was going to be there. It told us someone was going to be there.
Right.
But the thing was is that the minute they followed the people, the minute they started following those four, I'm like, oh, Guts is going to kill him. Guts is going to kill them all. They're so dead.
Yeah.
And from a strategic perspective for Griffith, he can't let them live.
Yeah.
He just can't. He's not stupid enough to do that.
Right.
The thing that
Even Foss was pushing it a little bit, and that was probably just to not draw attention.
Right.
know?
The thing that hilariously, like, gets me, though, is the bravery of these four stupid idiots.
Yes.
Why did they all go, split? And they immediately all just
There's
go,
only
boom.
one of him.
Yeah. And they all just run.
Yeah.
And then it becomes this terrifying thing of
Guts going all like
hunting
Predator.
them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's night. How is he going to find them?
He pulls out suddenly. He has that repeating crossbow from the beginning and just.
That would be amazing. Although I think that ends up being designed in some way to fight these inhuman things.
Sure.
End up being, you know, more prevalent in the story whenever that point is.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, like, just a crossbow in the war against Tudor. Yeah, you're pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
If they're not fast enough with their shield, you just pop.
Right. The only thing that would be really meant for, like, good for is if the enemy had, like, archers or crossbowmen of their own, and it's like, okay, I don't have a shield. I want to take them down before they can shoot me.
Sure, I agree. I still think, though, the reason why you want repeating is because it takes more than one bolt to kill them, you know?
Or if it's like, okay, I need to be able to take out 8 guys with this in a short amount of time. Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think
Yeah.
I think it's something designed to kill something that needs to die when it gets killed. You know? Double tap.
But now Guts is leaving.
Guts is leaving.
Yeah.
Casca and him had their conversation in the snow, which you called out the New Beginnings thing.
I love when snow is used for
I
like thematic
love
stuff
it.
and storytelling.
I love
so
it.
good.
So guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, when the seasons are used in storytelling, there are obvious themes that are used repeatedly throughout just storytelling in general. And when winter comes, essentially everything... when winter comes, everything dies, essentially. But you know that the reason why everything is dying is so that everything can be reborn. Hence
Springtime.
the new beginnings.
Yep.
And
Right.
the
Kind of
thing
like wiping the slate clean, just snow
exactly,
everywhere. Yeah.
exactly. And for Guts to leave at this time, it's in a story, you know, perspective for him. It's like that's kind of the worst time to leave, you know, because it makes it rough, it makes it harder. But as a thematic meta part of this, it's so important because to Guts, he's starting his own life now. Like he has not lived his own life ever.
Yeah, he's always been in survival mode.
He's lived Gambino's life.
Right.
He lived just the life of an animal trying to survive. He lived the life of a mercenary just trying to get enough coin to actually be able to make it in this world, and then have the means by which he can take care of himself.
And then everything that happened in the Band of Hawk.
And then he lived Griffith's life and his dream essentially, and now he's realizing, wow, I actually can do whatever I want. The idea that when Casca shared that story with Guts, she told him everything. Like, she told him everything. that flashback was there for us. But when you realize Guts knows all that information now, imagine Guts thinking about himself being in Casca's shoes.
Right.
And he was almost,
just being like, what is it that I want?
Well, no. Think about the parallels here. Gambino came at him in the night and almost killed him. Basically robbed him of his future. Just in the way this nobleman was going to rob Casca in a way of her dignity.
And he robbed her from her family.
Of her family and stuff.
Even though they
Yes.
agreed to it. Yeah.
Yes. Now, Guts didn't have a Griffith at that point. He just had himself.
Right. He had the wolves.
He had the wolves. He had the devil's luck, essentially.
Right.
He had like nothing really special coming to save him.
Yep.
But then imagining like, whoa, I think actually Griffith did save me by, this whole interaction.
Making me able to dream.
Making me able to dream,
Yeah.
And now he realizes exactly what Griffith meant when he told Casca, you can do whatever you want. He's like, whoa, I actually can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And a man can dream, and that's something that can take me into places that maybe I can have. Maybe I just have to find out what that means or what I want.
Yep.
He now gets to ask those questions.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so beautiful in that this show is about a protagonist who just wants to figure out what he wants.
Right.
But along the way, he decides to help people out with what they want. Now, he gets his hands really dirty doing all this stuff. But he has some issues. He has a lot of flaws as a character.
Yep.
But it's like you said, it's like a pure slate. He has an open book now to fill in with words of his own story. And that's terrifying to me as a viewer.
Assuming Guts knows how to read.
Guts doesn't know how to read. Let's be really
medieval times.
He doesn't know how to read. He knows like a few words, just enough to get by with things. Like
he probably knows like math for the sake of like
that's an apple
working with money.
Yeah, 2 + 2 is 4. Stuff like that. But
He's not that stupid.
I know, but
yeah.
He swings his sword and
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm getting at is that the story is breaking a rule here. It's splitting the party.
Don't you know?
Yes.
Never split the party.
Right.
And he's there, and he's basically their tank
in the middle.
that is. And don't you let that damn Corcus out of sight.
So he leaves. We have a dual storyline happening. How do we do that?
Yeah.
We've not done that in Berserk.
Nope.
We've done flashbacks. But even when Guts left with Casca, we didn't see what was going on really.
Right.
With
We
the
saw
other
like
people.
little bits of like, so are we going after them?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. The story basically stopped until they came back to the Band of the Hawk. So are the Band of the Hawk just out of the story? Is it just going to be Guts? Just going after him? Just going wherever he goes?
We're going to time skip 30 years in the
Oh my
future.
gosh, Jacob. Like, don't tease me like that. Like, I either think, on some level, because I know Berserk is a pretty popular show, that this is where Berserk has a little bit of a dip in quality. Like, I could see that happening. Like, Berserk actually has a little bit of struggling with
just
its
because
pacing
of
and stuff
how
like that.
because there's 7 episodes left and it's like, okay, well,
What do they do in these 7 episodes? Exactly. Or we do a time skip, a little bit, just a little bit of one. Band of the Hawk enjoys peace and prosperity. There's all kinds of things that could happen in that time frame. But the other thing I could see happening is that this now becomes Guts' story.
sure.
And this is basically us trying to connect the dots a little bit with what takes him to the place he was at in the first episode.
Right.
We can figure out how he got this.
Yeah.
What this is all about.
Yep.
We can figure out maybe a little bit to see if actions he takes while he's away end up not necessarily antagonizing him and Griffith from each other, because they're not, next to each other. They're not connected to each other in terms of distance and stuff. But what if like what Guts ends up wanting? See, that just seems too ham-fisted. That's the thing. I'm worried now. Because I feel like Berserk has just peaked.
Gotcha. And you're like, did they jump the shark? What could possibly come out?
What's the next conflict? Yeah.
Yeah.
I want it to be character focused. Just please let it be character focused. But if they do that, then they have to show the characters of the Band of the Hawk and Guts.
I mean, it has to be character focused at least to some extent because
There's only
Guts
three
is
options.
Guts is literally asking now, "What is it I want?"
Like Guts either exits the story.
Doesn't get more character focused than that.
Right. There's only three options. Guts exits the story. Griffith and the Band of the Hawk exits the story, or they're both in the story.
Or neither of them is in the story.
That is not happening. But either one happening is crazy.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, guys, I love this show. I love it a lot. I really feel for Casca now in this instance.
Yeah.
They did leave it on a little bit of a cliffhanger as to how she's going to fully react to this.
Yes.
I did theorize a little bit of the while back that she was going to predict if he was leaving no matter what, that she was either going to persuade him to stay,
or that he would persuade her to go with him,
or persuade her to go with him. Yeah.
Guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, guys. But yeah, if you want to watch that next episode's reaction right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us about whatever. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.